But you must know whom you are going to love. You must know how long and what is the cost. Because if you squander money, it's an upturn, all right, but you need money because you are coming out from the night. You need money to your project reorientation, your market reorientation, and maybe research, developing new products as the upturn may demand. So you need money. But at the same time, have innovative ways of doing. Yeah, create a new performance agenda for people. New performance agenda. I mean, you may reorient even your instruments of performance management. As RP emphasized on values, why not values should be part of the performance management? If they have been threatening, and I'm sure, and I agree 100% to that. If I look at the 90s, the downturn of caused or spiraled by Enron and Arthur Anderson and all, you must have remembered this. WorldCom, deadly, all scrupulous practices, killing the other innocent organization into dreadful time. Similarly, if you look at this period, I mean, all Lehman Brothers, Merrill Lynch, all these big names. I'm not being critical to that, but I'm trying to learn from happening, learn from development. Satyam, we were not aware, we were not separate. I think perhaps it's time that companies should look at that. Maybe you revisit your vision also. This is the time. If there was a night, have a good dinner, and then think about it. What we should do tomorrow when the sun rises. Revisit your vision, excite your people, create involvement, create passion that yes, this is where we will go as soon as the sun rises, 4 o'clock. I'm just simulating for making it easier in quicker time. Revisit your values. Revisit strategies of actualizing them, putting them in the blood and soul of the people. That's much more important rather than hanging it as posters and calendars here and there. Strategize that. That's what is required, which is going to make you sustainable, not merely through this upturn or downturn or tsunami or resume tsunami, on a continuous basis. I would like to also add engage people. There is a huge host of RICO on engagement, but I'm talking of keep it to efficiency and productivity. Excite people, give them excitement, give them challenge. How to optimize the organization, Perhaps these will bring a better time through the night as you reach the morning. This is very critical. This will be a value add, not merely to the organization, I tell you, this will value add to the excitement of the people, the engagement of the whole resource that you value. Learning and development, yeah. I remember, when I was very new, I returned from Reliance Bombay last year, and then I suddenly found that came back to my adopted home, Delhi, to spend retirement happily, and got into Jindals. And it was just the beginning of the new year. In the new year, the intensity was very high of downturn. Everybody, the prices had come down, stock of steel had come down by more than half. We were not knowing what to do. This guy stands up, Naveen Jindal stands up and says, I know people are laying off, families are on the streets, people are shelving projects, there are crunch of money, revenues, challenges are there. People are being laid off, but nobody in my organization needs panic. Even if I don't make profit, you are with me. And this is a time rather I should come and say thank you to you and your family that you were with us last year and you are going to be with us this year. So big thank you. That was the message he was communicating everywhere. I know we lost. It's not that we did not. We lost as compared to the relative opportunity available. That gives a courage. That gives a bondage. That gives a relationship, not the laughing. And he said, if this is a bad time, then at least do one thing or two things. Look at money. See that its wasteful practices are cut. A little bit of extra money in the piggy bank will help us in the upturn or downturn when we separate product line, redesign it. We'll need some money. Let's look at that. And second, and more importantly, if you have extra time because our production may be low, our projects may be low, if at all you get time, learn. Devote it in building some capability. Invest in learning and pump in money for that. Invest in money. I think these are the strategies which create a long-term bondage of retention rather than creating a scare of talent. There will be movement. There will be some movement, definitely. And perhaps it's healthy too. But I started with becoming a long-term strategies in this. Talking of communication, communicate, absolutely, regular. And coming from the horse's mouth is great, the greatest. Communicate, relate with people. Not merely changing our vision or realigning or relate with emotion, empathy. But that gives courage, that gives a bondage of oneness. I recall Marshusta Nagu and Konosuke Marshusta of National Conclave. Some of these leaders, they had seen worse of times. First World War, Second World War. When the Allied forces entered Japan, they ruined corporates. Look at the people, they didn't separate. You used to sit down on the floor with people. Nobody is going. No, I'll pay for it, don't worry. Maybe people came voluntarily that, okay, we'll cut down 20% of our pay or bonus, provident fund, whatever. But then, they had a bonded relationship. Employer brand, this is what creates a brand, internal brand, which you love people and people love you, know. Introspect, couple of endpoints, introspect. Look at, have OHI, have climate surveys, have even outside customer surveys as to what kind of product line will sell in the downturn or upturn, what kind of demands will rise or keep on learning from them. Keep on learning as a feedback. Open your ears, open your eyes, and let this knowledge come from all directions. Perhaps this kind of introspection will help you to organize the tomorrow of the company. Always, always. And lastly, I would like to say a couple of more points, but I will like to close. Lastly, I'd like to say, okay, generosity, thank you. But anyway, create a learning organization, which I began with. And I recall I've become a proponent of the thoughts given by R.A.D. Hughes, the Shell, the oil leader, Shell's, I think director of operations or director of production, something he was, in the early 70s and the late 60s, when Shell was going down, and a lot of competition in oil sector was coming in. And this guy is receiving a farewell in the boardroom. When the directors tell him that, Ari, you are leaving, but we are in difficult times. We might be losing an experienced person. Why don't you tell us whether tomorrow we are going to be there or not? We are going to survive or wither away. A major organization. Can you suggest something? And he says that, look, I'm not into academics. I have never been into research or academics. How would I do? They all persuade him, you know the company like the back of your palm, why don't you contribute your experience and learning? Tell us what is to be done for living in the downturn or upturn, whatever comes, because we want to be a sustainable winning company tomorrow as well. And he sits with a couple of youngsters, whatever, IBA or MBAs, and says, look, I've never been to research, but I have been an operations guy, so I know benchmarking. Shall we do some benchmarking exercise? And go, let us find out what is a long period of sustainable behavior of a corporate. And they rated it around 100 years. If some company has lived 100 years or more, let us go and see them. What made them live 100 years? And benchmark those things, typical benchmarking process. And he sends people, because there was no internet or data or search engines available in the 60s and 70s. And these guys move around, the youngsters move around a couple of continents and corporates. Somewhere they get data, mostly they don't get organized data or biographies of the organization, but they collect. And they found they had more than 100 companies which are of surprise. They thought that there may be 10, 15, 20 or so. And they found there were many of them, huge names. I don't remember all of them, but Sumitomo, Mitsubishi, Kodak, Siemens, big names, who are still leaders today. Who are still leaders after 100 years. Stora, 700 years, Sumitomo 400 years plus. All of them living still as winners. You look at the 500, Fortune 500, many companies, 70% companies have vanished in every 3 or 4 decades. But they are there. Like devils, they are there. Hiroshima bombing took away the mother plant of Mitsubishi. They thought they are finished and gone, but I'm just illustrating. But like devil or like the Terminator movie, they come back again. Like terrible guys, and they're still in the league. Sumitomo never. It started with some bauxite or some mineral mining and get into today everything, whether financial or whether whatever. Anyway, there were a lot of challenges. There were 2 world wars during this time. What could be worst of tsunamis? There were 2 world wars. The companies and the organizations and nations were around them. Apart from battles, which were quite often there, cross-political and cross-border battles, apart from destructions happening anyway within nature, these companies have survived. They're huge. I mean, if there was no communication, if they wanted to, one of the illustrations, they wanted to send a communication of the CEO to the works manager. It takes 15 days going on horseback to deliver a communication that do it or don't do it. Whatever, I mean, he comes out with a finding and he comes and says, I'm a very focused operations guy. He says 4 things I found common in them. All these companies have lived 100 years, 200, 300, 400 years. I see 4 things in them. And he talks that yes, they were very respectful to money. They valued money. They were thrifty organization. They used to always save some extra chips, wasteful accounts into the piggy bank. You never know when a battle will take over or a war will take over, and you not know how to which business I go in, but I want to go in. Let's be careful. Value money. Second was they were very sensitive to environment. They were always looking at, they were able to anticipate changes substantially. So their management of anticipatory change, apart from aspirational change, was superb, huge, always open to inputs coming in. Third, they were very tolerant. He found they were very tolerant organization. They used to allow mistakes to happen. They used to allow people to innovate. That is what I mean. Innovate. Go on, make an extra mile, extra step. You may step on sometime on a red line, but make mistakes. They used to be very tolerant organization. They used to encourage innovation, R&D, research, new bubble of thought. Sometimes they used to burst, but they were very tolerant. Very good practices, strong practice. And fourth, he recommended and found, rather he found, was that their employees were held in absolutely engaged. There were huge amount of pride in the employees and the families involved. And not talking of India, talking of the West, where people and employees and the families have contributed to turn around the companies that have become sick in a couple of changes which had taken place. India also it happens. I've seen cases of Kamani tubes, if you remember, if you look at the northeast, the tea garden, which decayed and died, and the employees and workmen and families turn this around and all the managers come back. There are stories, successful stories. They are silent, they are not publicized, but they are sustainable companies, ages or ages. Tsunamis and resume tsunamis, nights and days. What he calls them as learning organization. Even before Peter Senge, I think he was, perhaps the old man was, he says that these were capability building was a regular affair. That they kept on building capability to be flexible, to be adaptable to changes. And I think perhaps that's what we should work for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And now I would like to request Mr. R.S. Dabas, Chief Human Resource Officer, JBM Group, to come up to the dais and share his views.
platform as a speaker. It was Hari who requested and Dr. Saxena. Otherwise, this is first time in 2 years that I thought of really coming, otherwise maybe the job. When I left Ironda in 98, I was the vice president of that group and started my own. And then fortunately, I've been the speaker in 30 countries. 3 times in a row, I became the speaker from India in IFTDU. And one day, United Nations called me that, Mr. Abbas, can you take the governance of the country? I said, I'll be delighted. They said, just listen the name of the country. It is called Afghanistan. I said, I'll be now more delighted rather. And I had a 2-month stay in Kabul. It was a wonderful day, wonderful stay there. And I had a great really. So that's basically my passion for speaking happy. So one day in 96, actually, my wife recovered from a bed too, fortunately, and then she requested that stop this freelancing, take up a job, and that's how I entered again the corporate sector, and I'm